Welcome to You Can Do It. I'm your host, Chris, and in this video, we're going to show you how we built this balcony railing using some cattle panels from Tractor Supply and some 4x6 timber. So standard height, legal height of a balcony railing is about 36, which is about here, but we made ours 46. So when you come out, you can just kind of lean on it. But anyhow, we're going to show you how you can do it. Stay tuned with us. So here's our basic installation for the top and bottom rail for a hand railing. As you can see here, this is a hog panel. We bought this from Tractor Supply. And what you want to be looking for on your screen, if you're going to go with the hog panel screen, it needs to be 4 inches or less. So where we're at per code, you can't have an opening that's more than 4 inches. And this is 3 and roughly 3 3/4. So each one of these squares. And then down here at the bottom, the opening is 3 1/4. So a small child can't slip underneath that. So our top rail and the bottom rail, it's 4x6 pressure treated wood. I did use some number 12 lags. They're 5 5/8 long. And these lags are good for pressure treated lumber. It says right on there. And so I went from the bottom here and went at an angle up in. I used 4 per unit here. You may need to use more depending on your installation. But these things, they bit down nice and it pulled this whole thing tight. So these are in nice and tight. We had to kind of hammer them in a bit. And then down here at the bottom for the frame, I just took a 2x4 and I ripped it in half here, and I got 2 pieces of wood. And so I've got one on the inside and one on the outside. Pretty basic. You know, like I said, this is a basic railing, but it'll turn out real nice. And then on the side here, I used same scenario, but I cut it down a little bit more because the lumber was a bit defective. So just trying to stick with 2x4s. The side pieces are 1 inches thick, so you can stick with the same material thickness all the way around. Doesn't really matter as long as it's nice and secure. And then as far as fastening the rails on the side here to frame in to do a picture frame, I use galvanized finish nails that were 2.5 inches long to make it nice and secure. So, and then we bought 16-foot panels, and instead of putting a full panel here on the side, we ended up with 2 small little pieces that were scrapped. And instead of buying another 16-foot panel to save money, we put a divider here, and we're actually framing out 2 individual panels, and we matched it on both sides. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with this panel and finish it off and show you how you can do it. So to make it easy on ourselves, we went ahead and pre-painted these rails here, the framing material that we're going to be using in here, and then we also painted the whole perimeter, the inside perimeter of this. We'll be painting this here in just a few minutes, just so we don't get paint all over the galvanized hog panel and make a big mess. We just wanted to make sure that we had paint on all the wood, just so we don't have future dry rotting and whatnot. So as you can see, this is dry. And so we're going to go ahead and start cutting these pieces here on the inside. I did make a jig, and I'll show you what that looks like. It just made it easy to stick on the outside, and it places this outside perimeter frame perfectly to where you can just nail it off really fast. So, all right, let's go ahead and get going. Spacing here on this rail, it's 1 inch. And so I made this little jig here, just kind of rests on the out like this, so that I can hold it and place it without holding the tape measure, putting a mark. And I made a couple of them, so it's pretty easy. So basically you just take your rail, stick it up in here, and just hold this off to the side. Make sure it's nice and tight against the 4x6 and nail it. I'm recutting these small scrap pieces that we had from the main 16-foot panels. I'm going to be using this angle grinder here. It's a Bosch angle grinder, and it's got a thin metal cutting wheel on it. And so that's what I'm going to be using to cut. You will want to use some really good eye protection because it'll be throwing sparks. And I'm going to be using these Klein safety glasses. They got little vent closures up here in the top. These are optimal for cutting metal. It doesn't allow any metal objects to enter into the side of your safety glasses. And these are by far one of the best ones I have used. I have had metal in my eye before, and it's not fun. So definitely want to use some good safety glasses. If you don't have good safety glasses, I wouldn't attempt to cut the metal. So unless you're using like a hacksaw or something. But anyhow, so I'm going to go ahead and mark this panel out. I got the other one marked, and then I'll be making the cuts. this is a fairly inexpensive railing. It's very sturdy, very stout, and if you're looking for a real kind of beefy look, this is a way to go right here. And it's fairly easy to do. You just need a chop saw to cut through these 4x6s with a 12-inch blade, and you can probably get it done. So anyhow, thank you for watching. You can do it, and stay tuned for the next video.